online social media changes, updates, things going on because it changes rapidly. So today, quick hitter list, going to go over data portability, what it is, what's updating, what it means for you. I'm going to go over payment processing. And if you have an e-commerce store, what are your options there? What do you know about? And are you aware of some of the options and some of the fees involved? So I want to cover those pieces. Also talk a little bit more about phishing schemes and a new WordPress launch that we did here. All right, so as we dive in today, the first one I want to talk about is data portability. Okay, so you may have heard of this thing called GDPR, General Data Protection Regulation. Okay, now largely started in Europe and continues to expand its way west, saying that individuals have certain rights with their data and what you do with it on your website. And so now you're seeing, a lot of these footer bars that says what they're going to do with cookies, or and then you're supposed to be able to request if you want to be removed from the list, that your data is erased from that list or from that website, those types of pieces there. So as a website owner, as a business, you need to be aware of the need to kind of talk about your privacy terms and how you're handling data, but also kind of have a process for how you're going to handle requests for data removal. That's part of data portability. So how are you going to get rid of accounts, information, data that maybe somebody has submitted, but they say, I don't want you to have that anymore. Please erase it. So data portability continues to grow, and what you need to do is be aware of those things. Number one, the need to say on your website with terms and with cookies. If you go over Digital Hill's site, you see this footer bar that says this site uses cookies, find out more, and there's an approval thing. Okay, got it. So allowing people to choose whether they want to be tracked or not. And then in your privacy in terms, maybe updating that, see what you're going to do with data and how to request for removal of data if someone wants to. And that is now potentially coming to social media. There's a big push out there for social media data portability. Okay, so in essence, what that would mean is that you would say, hey, Facebook, I don't want you to have my data anymore. I want to export that, but I want to be able to port that over because I want to use Twitter now as my main source. And so to be able to potentially port that over, but definitely to remove it. So you can remove your data from Facebook right now, and but the portability, moving it somewhere else, is what's coming. And now it's not implemented, legalized, but there's possibilities for that. And so that has implications for you as a business, because maybe your Facebook business page has done some, a messenger, for instance. You've had communication with customers and that type of thing. So there may be a need. You may be able to, Facebook may be required to, if that person asked, to remove that data, which would take out that chat message, maybe that, was a support request. Okay, so you have to be aware of that. And you may want to, make sure that you have records on what that was, and then being aware of what you need to do if it's requested that is deleted. It's a little bit more complex there, but just to let you know, that's what data portability is. It's coming potentially to social media. They're talking about it, and you have to watch for that. What you need to do now, make sure you outline on your website what you're doing with people's data, business data that you collect, from forms or whatever on the web, and how you store that, and how people can request to get that removed. Okay, that's number one. Number two is any e-commerce store has a payment processing tool that basically actually does the credit card transaction. So it's not the website doing the transaction. They're using a third-party tool to do that transaction. So when you're putting in that credit card number, it's in that third-party tool that is securely, in an encrypted way, handling information, and making that transaction. Okay, there's probably some that you're familiar with. Okay, so the number one that we often recommend use today is called Stripe. There's other ones, PayPal, there's authorized.net. Okay, so a few keys that you want to take a look at when you're looking at your payment processor that you want for your website. Okay, so number one, what are their transaction fees? Okay, so they're all going to have varying amounts. So that's how they make their money. When something costs $50 and somebody buys it on the website, there's a transaction fee charge for you being able to process that transaction. And so of that $50, maybe you're getting $47.03, and the processor, that's how they made their money, kept the rest of that, $2.97, whatever. So transaction fees, want to take a look at that. So you think you can compare those two, or again, all these services and see what you're doing, but be aware of these other things. There may be other charges that a transaction processor charges, maybe for subscriptions. They have a per subscription transaction fee in addition to the payment processing fee. That's common. We see that. What is that fee? And that's the subscriptions, like recurring payments in that regard. Is it available in your region? Okay, so US, Canada, Europe, Asia, there's variations on which payment processors are available in those regions. So just make sure it's available where you want to do business. And now we use WordPress and WooCommerce, which offers multiple payment processing solutions. Okay, so number one, as I said, we mentioned, recommend Stripe. There are other ones that you can use. Stripe does not have a monthly subscription cost or anything like that. It just has the payment processing fee. It does have also like a 12-cent subscription fee if you're using that. There are others. Authorized.net is another payment processor that has been around quite a while. They do charge a monthly service fee just to have the service. Okay, so in addition to transaction fees, which are probably a little lower than what Stripe might be, they charge a large, Stripe doesn't have any. Authorized.net has one monthly subscription fee. There's PayPal, you're probably familiar with. We're not high on PayPal for websites because it just does not have a smooth integration. People do not like that whole pay with PayPal, and then you jump or opens up some other window with a PayPal in it, and you try to do your PayPal account thing there and pay for it, and then it says redirect, and you hope you get redirected to the website. Just not smooth, not seamless, not fast. So it is an option, but don't recommend it too much there. Now with a newer one that's come out is Square. Square works with WooCommerce and WordPress websites. Pretty smooth, pretty seamless transaction. What I do like about it is some of those the recurring things. So it can remember a card number by an email address. So you pay on using Square on some website, the Square payment processing, and you've entered into your information. You can say, hey, remember my information. You can say yes. And then now you're on another website, a WordPress WooCommerce website that uses Square, and it would say, hey, enter your email address. And when you do, it can pull up that information. So the website didn't have the information, Square had the information. It can remember that and make checkout very fast. So the security piece is all on Square in that regard, but that's a fast, seamless way that's coming. And then a newer one that is out there is WooCommerce Payments. Okay, so WooCommerce has their own payment system. Now it's built with the infrastructure of Stripe. So underneath it is Stripe, but they did some customizations on that, and it's geared just specifically for WooCommerce. And so it offers a streamlined, smooth experience, maybe a touch faster and more seamless, kind of like Square, where it can remember things that Stripe didn't, that WooCommerce has built onto it. So WooCommerce Payments is a new and good option there, and some offering there. So that's important for you to know as e-commerce continues to grow, and sites all have to have some type of payment processing. There's pieces on that. So I want to give you some information on that. Now, I think I talked about it last week. You can go to Digital Hill's website and learn about that, but there's these phishing schemes out there. They're coming in via email at this point in time, or sometimes people are submitting them on contact forms on websites, and you get this that says, hey, Can't believe this, but you're using copyrighted photos that I own on your website. And if you click this link and download this, you'll be able to see all my photos and the copyrights there. Okay, that's the danger. That's the phishing link. They want you to click this bogus link, which inserts some malware onto your computer. So be aware of these um, long drawn out emotional emails that say that you can't believe you're using my copyright images on your website, all that kind of thing. Any good web developer is not going to use images that have some type of copyright or royalty on them. There's plenty available that do not, so it's just there's no use in doing that. But these people are posting these on websites, sending you emails that way, and trying to get you to click. And if you're not paying attention, again, people will click on that and get malware inserted on their computer. Bad thing. Then you have to have an IT company, clean it out, change all your passwords, all kinds of stuff. So be aware of that phishing scheme. And again, we are rolling out some new websites. We've got them in all kinds of industries. We launched a library website, Napanee Public Library. We launched another church website. We launched a multinational corporation website. All these are going to have information on them on our website and the blog. The phishing scheme has information on the data portability, all of that. Just come over to digital.com, click on blog, and you'll get all those pieces. So that's your update for this week. Just trying to keep you updated as things change rapidly on the web. You got to be aware. You got to make decisions. You got to stay with it. All right. This is Mike.